Hey guys, Thomas Yap here on Thomas Drives, and today we are in Aston Martin Kuala Lumpur to look at the DB11. Oh, look at that gorgeous thing over there. So beautiful, such a beautiful car. So we're going to do a walk around review, but today I'm not going to do this just as a review, as you know, to look around the car, because I want to take you through a story of passion, a story of vision. See, people look at the DB11, they always think of a James Bond's car, right? That slick looking car. But for me, the DB means, the two letters means so much more. It is actually the initials of an owner who took on this company with a mere £20,000 when he acquired the company post-war, and turned it into something as an icon, as a legend, as we see today over here, right? And the DB stands for the gentleman named Sir David Brown. Okay, so today I want to walk around the car, but more importantly, this is a story of passion, a story of vision, and a story of entrepreneurship and vision. Right? So we're going to go and look at this car. Before I start, please hit the subscribe button, turn the bell notification so you won't miss any of the content like this in the future. Please help me hit the like button if you enjoy content like this, and let me know in the comments below what do you think about the Aston Martin DB11. Alright, with that, we're going to go into the review. Let's get off right now. Let's start the review by looking at its exterior and how its influence from David Brown came into what we see here today as the DB11, that gorgeous looking car. Come on, look at that. Alright, so during the post-war times, David Brown actually bought this company. He was actually a owner of a tractor company, right? And the Aston Martin before that was being marketed as a race car, right? More than a GT car, right? So he was putting his hands in to develop the DB2, which fundamentally changed how he wanted the company to be. He wanted it to be a supercar, but niched into the luxury segment. So it's something that is it's supercar, has great performance, but has a level of luxury. And the question is, does it still show up today? Absolutely yes. Okay, and by the way, the story is that David Brown himself bought this company with his own money, which is roughly around £20,500. Okay, and today's equivalent is around £1 million. Okay, but it's quite a lot of money. But it's not about how much he bought the company for; it's what work and passion he put into this car over here. So let's take a look at some of this really cool exterior styling. Right now, first of all, it just looks so understated. That's what this car is, a gentleman's car. Right. Everything in this car is handmade, hand-built. Even the badge over here is actually built by a jeweler, not just any company, right? That's handmade over there. It's a gorgeous looking thing, and it sticks out. Okay. So for the front design, again, this grille it's something of heritage, and that's what a lot of car companies need to do, is to keep the heritage, and Aston Martin did it right with this one. Okay, lights, everything. But let's go over to something where I think is really awesome. See, they have to find ways to keep this car planted with aerodynamics, okay? But they do it in a way that it doesn't shout too much, like a big wing on the rear and stuff. But look at how they do it. They have this air vent over here. So the air comes from the front, it flows up over here, out in this very slick looking air vent. In fact, if you actually touch down over here, they have little undulations, and this creates like a cyclone effect for the wind to come out. And it actually helps as a purpose for it, right? And let's come to the side over here, okay? This is super cool. You don't even see it, but if you really look closely, there is an air vent over here, and this air vent is to create downforce for the rear. And how does it do it? You don't need a big, spoiler to do it. So with the air coming down over here, it actually comes out through here on top of the hood. And how do they do it? how did it actually do it? Let me open the boot and show you how. Alright. Right, so lift up the boot. You can see there's a vent that flows through here and it connects all the way to the top here, creating downforce without having a huge wing. So it looks nice and slick and looks beautiful by the driveway. So without compromising its commitment to be an understated, gentleman's supercar. But of course they have a wing over here that can come up during high speeds, and that's a good thing because that keeps the car planted as well. Okay, let's talk about some other cooler features of the car as well. Now, I'm going to come back to the front. Now if you look at the tires are actually not staggered, means the front tires and rear tires are actually the same size. But what they've done is they stanced it a little bit further out. So it has a bit more of a muscular angle over there, right? And even the rear, and notice in the rear, check this out. It's not only a brake caliper as usual, you have an additional brake caliper. And what does it do? Because this car has huge amount of torque from the V8, right? So what you need to do is to also sort of help the car tame its torque when you're accelerating out. So that was the extra brake pad that is to help the car be more linear in its acceleration, to have it controlled. Because remember guys, although it's a V8 engine, right? This car produces a lot of horsepower. Not any all-wheel drive setting, it's all to the rear. Okay, like a classic sports car, alright? Classic setup. They refuse to go into the all-wheel drive, and that's how committed they are to that passion over there. Let's move on to the front for one more thing before you go inside there. Yeah? Now, this car has no lift. When you buy a sports car or supercar, and you always ask the question, do we have this like the air lift for the front? They don't have it. And you're probably thinking like, hey, are you trying to rob us of money by not putting all these features in? Actually, they don't need it because it's designed in such a way that you can see. Now, I think for a conventional car, it's pretty low, but it's high enough. It's high enough for you to get past most of the curbs. Okay, so this car becomes a very usable sports car on a daily basis. And unlike a lot of the mid-engine supercars, they put their tires and their wheels way up front so you can have better clearance for that. So you don't need that feature for this car because it does it already. Okay, so now we're done with the exterior. There are so many cool things, but I gotta show you some other things as well. Now, check this out as well. Now, let's open up the door. It opens like that, and this is what they call the gentleman's handshake, right? It's actually designed so it feels like you're holding somebody's hand. You're shaking hand with the car, right? And for some of you car enthusiasts, we believe that cars have spirit, right? Yeah, you're actually being greeted with the car. You're acknowledging the presence of the car with this little thing here. I love this so much, and this is what I love about Aston Martin. Not just the performance. If you look at the car based on its figures and stuff, it's one thing, but to actually experience the car in the flesh is another thing. Now I want to show you this. Look at the door. It opens upwards. Okay, cool feature because, well, I have a spider. I always am afraid to curb my car. Alright, for those of you who have low cars, you're afraid to curb the car. But because of this design, it keeps you away from the curb, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and of course, it looks gorgeous. It really looks gorgeous on the street. If it makes you look gorgeous when you step out of the car. Alright, let's get into the interior. So this one, they have the spicy red and black interior, which is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Alright, and everything in this cabin here are hand assembled and hand stitched. You can feel the stitching is done so beautifully. Now, something that I cannot explain to you through the camera is how the leather actually feels. I was speaking to Alfred, who is a really passionate salesperson over here, sales advisor over here. He explained to me that I was wondering what kind of leather it is because it's so beautiful, and he told me that these are aged leather. They call it metallic leather, and it's aged. Okay, so it loses its roughness. Okay, but more importantly, it will age properly because it's really stretched and stuff. So when you stitch it in under like maybe 10 years, 15 years, it will not stretch out too much, so you'll still retain its shape. So there's new leathers, they're still trying to get into its shape, so this one doesn't. Everything in this car over here is quality. Everything you touch is quality. The little bits of aluminium here. This one is with the luxury pack. Okay, so you have the stitching that goes like this, up over here. But everything feels so So beautiful. Now, the design over here is called the waterfall design. Okay, it's been in all Astons, and it's still kept it. Again, it's this beautiful thing they do with heritage. Okay, and everything about this car speaks a story of passion. Oh gosh, I'm so in awe of this car over here. And with the start button and stuff. It's not something that's super fancy, and they don't try to be fancy. They try to keep it simple, easy, recognizable for the driver. Okay? So driving position is really nice and low, and if it's what I think it is, it's really comfortable because we are actually in the center of the four wheels. So what happens is that at this space, you get the most comfort. And one thing I like about this car, you can say it's a good thing or bad thing, is that they make sure that you cocoon in this small tiny space, so it makes you feel like you're in a performance car. Though it's a Super GT over here, Supercar GT, right? Okay, and you even have this thing, check it out. You have a electronic armrest. How awesome is that? Right, the adjustable seats over here, but gosh, everything in here, even the pedal shifters, feels like nothing I've ever touched. Wow, like, you know, they are nice, like quality from from many manufacturers. This is like a mess, right? And you're up there, and then you got all the other car manufacturers, which is good, right? You got LV, Prada, and stuff. This is like a mess, like next level. It's like Rolls Royce. Wow, beautiful interior. Oh, something to note as well, because it's a luxury pack, they also have the leather on the roof. Otherwise, it should be usually Alcantara, but you can customize this car in many ways. But this one comes, this specific spec sitting right now in Aston Martin Kuala Lumpur is the one with the luxury pack, right? And they also have the black pack, if I get it right. Oh, I like the feeling of the door closing. Wow, so solid, beautiful. It has a black, so it's all blackened out. Usually it could be carbon fiber and stuff, but this one is all black, including the front as well, the side fenders and stuff like that. Ah, wow, this car is just so gorgeous. Let's talk about something that is rather more important. Let's talk about the performance right now. Okay, since we talked about the exterior and interior, let's talk about the performance. I haven't got to drive the car yet, but this car has the V8 instead of the V12. And this is the model where they introduced turbocharging to its car. Well, a lot of people were afraid that it's going to lose its sound and noise, but you know, the V12 did prove people otherwise wrong. Okay, and this one is with the V8, with the 4-liter V8. Now this one produces 503 brake horsepower and 675 Nm of torque, 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. So it's not a slouch. It's a fast car. Okay, but then there's this question that we need to clear up. Everybody says that, oh, it's a AMG engine. Well, part of it is true, but actually it's not entirely true. Let me explain. That this engine actually is co-developed with Mercedes. A lot of the parts in the engine itself are actually Aston Martin's job as well. So it's co-developed with. So it's not fair to say it's an AMG engine. Yes, it has the AMG block, but a lot of the things has been co-manufactured with Aston Martin's involvement in it. So it's no way, it's not fair to call it just an AMG engine. Okay. Speaking of the engine, let's show you how another thing that I really love about this car, which is how the hood opens up. Okay. Alright, I'm going to show you something really cool about this car. Speaking of engines, let's talk about something really cool. I like how the hood opens up, which I think is probably one of the coolest functions in this car over here. Right. So first of all, it opens is a clamshell hood, so do away with all those nasty, you know, side cuts and everything. It's a huge piece of aluminium up front, okay? So that's what you're paying for, okay? And it opens up this way. Oh my god, come on, look at that. Wow, it's so gorgeous. And look at how even the tires are exposed with this. It looks so good. Alright? It looks so freaking gorgeous. And they have the so the struts are the anti-sway bar, and you have that beautiful engine we talked about, the 4-liter V8, the large air fits to feed that hungry engine with oxygen. And the other thing that's really cool about this car is how it closes as well. This car is so luxury that even when you close the hood, guess what? it has comfort close, soft close. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, but just looking at this car, not even driving it, just looking at this car in the flesh and interacting with it and seeing how it looks like, it just blows my mind. Completely blows my mind how much Aston Martin has retained its design philosophy. It's not shouty like a Lamborghini, and this is how I'm going to explain and wrap up this review over here. Not before showing you, hopefully I can show you the sound of the exhaust. Here's what I think. I always have a suspicion that supercars like Ferraris, like Lamborghinis, they play in this lane, right? In Porsches and stuff like that. But they play in this one lane. They're all about performance and all about being like, a great supercar, right? And then now over here you have Aston Martin, and they don't really give a crap. Not that these cars are slouches. They are, from what I understand, it's a great car to drive as well. But its philosophy is very different than a Lamborghini or Ferrari or those supercars over here. First, and here's the reason why. It's design. The design is an understated. It doesn't shout out to you and say, hey, look at me. But yet it carries so much presence, like a gentleman, like a true gentleman. And the British gentleman feel. And this car definitely has it, right? And that's the vision that Sir David Brown actually wanted. He wanted a supercar that looks luxurious. And today, we still have it. Everything about the way it moves and the way the the bonnet open and close speaks luxury. The interior it's probably the most luxurious interior I've ever touched in my life. Okay? So, that has been achieved for sure. The second thing is that it's set up. So do away with the mid-engine supercar, and stuff like that. They still kept it with front engine and rear-wheel drive. That formula still sticks till today because that is their DNA. And that's how committed Aston Martin is to their DNA with the DB11 over here. So, that's what I think about this car over here. It's a story of passion. It's a story of vision that still translates today. And Sir David Brown not only did something great with the DB brand of Aston Martin, it did it so well that you cannot remove the DB from the Aston Martin, even after he sold off his shares. Alright? So this car is actually around, before duty is around 850,000 ringgit. And with duty is around like, probably 1.7, 1.8 million ringgit. Right? But is it an expensive car? Well, I don't think it's an expensive car. And here's the reason why. See, now with a lot of cars are being machine made, it's easier to have better quality control if it's machine made, right? But this car, everything of it is handmade. It means you have to manage the people. You got to find the right people with the right passion, with the right heart to build this car. That is not an easy task. To retain that team is not an easy task. To make sure that they are not only passionate but skillful in what they do is not easy. So in that perspective, it's really value for money because to have that team requires a lot of money. Okay, so for that kind of money you put in for a car that's handmade, everything, okay, including the stitching, even every stitch of the car, no, it's worth it. Oh yeah, there's something that I've also forgot to talk about, which is the exhaust sound. This car has 3 settings. That's the GT setting, which is the comfortable setting. You have the second one, which is the sports, a little bit more sporty, and sports plus, which is like track, right? Track kind of like setting. And depending on which setting you choose, it changes. You see, not everybody likes the engine noise, right? Some people want to be in comfort, right? Every 3 setting has different levels of engine noise being piped into the car. And guess what? There's something even so no other car companies would have done this, right? Because they are gentleman cars, right? You have a quiet startup mode so you won't disturb your neighbors when you start this car up for your morning rides. Wow, that's really, really impressive.
So before you go ahead and enjoy this beautiful exhaust note from this car, please go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button for more content like this in the future. Okay, with that, enjoy.